But
realistically, would you guys be pissed if there were no preseason games? Because I feel like I would.
No, I wouldn't.
I honestly wouldn't care that much.
I wouldn't be pissed, but I get your point, Jackson. And I'm excited to watch something, like to finally get something back in football.
All right.
So welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to the Philly Skate Podcast, preseason pregame, you could say.
Preseason pod.
Preseason. So we're going to start off. We're going to go into a little bit of preseason theory. Like, do you guys actually like preseason? Talk about it. Is it actually a value-added type of thing? We'll then get into what we actually want to see from the Birds, right? So as far as playing time, what do you expect for Jalen Hurts, knowing he's the starter? He hasn't been named as the starter from the Eagles in training camp, but he obviously is that guy from the depth chart. And then we'll just go into, what you're looking to see from the pregame or from the game itself against the Steelers on Thursday. So as far as who you're excited to see, we can talk a little bit fantasy, who are the guys that we're looking for to pick up this season. So let's start. Like I said, no slides this week. So we're trying to give you guys more content in less times. We're not lazy. There's just got a lot to do.
We're going to try out for the NFL season a bit of like 2 pods per week, 2 shorter podcasts, right?
2 pods, so 30-minute pods. We'll make it a little bit shorter, but we'll give you an extra pod a week. So
pre-game pod,
same
post-game
amount
pod.
of time.
Pre and post.
That way you guys won't have to wait a whole week to see us again.
Exactly.
Yeah, takes a lot of time to perfect these things, but
we'll
put it together.
Just what you want.
Oh, Caputo, you're muted.
There we go. Am I back?
Yeah, you're back.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Yeah. Let me talk the whole pod and then not hear me. So first question, right? A lot of NFL coaches talk about this all the time. They hate it. Do you guys think that preseason games are actually valuable to these NFL teams, or is it just pretty much just scam from the NFL just to make more money, show games sooner, and show more games just to make more money?
Yeah, do you think they could just do like a whole month of practice and that would serve just as well?
I think you need at least 1 or 2 warm-up games, so I could see shortening preseason to just 2 games, or even just 1. Really,
I'm in the point. I think of it as it's pretty valuable for the players, but obviously, like as a fan, I hate it.
I would say it's less It really would be more valuable for the backups and like the coaches who are trying to see what the backups have.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's good for like the starters to go out there for a couple drives, and then that's really it though. But I think that does help.
Yeah, I think it benefits those like end of the bench guys who like are about to get cut. They maybe have like a big game and they make the team, But I don't think the rest of the players need it. I think the training camp is really the more necessary part.
I just think if you get a couple drives in with your starters, then it kind of like shakes off the rust a little bit, and you're not playing your first real snap in your first week 1.
Yeah, I mean, being hit by your teammate in practice is never going to be compared to being hit by an opponent in a game.
Yeah. And let's be honest, even in practice, you're not being hit even by your teammate. So, I guess the question really is: do the risks outweigh, or the rewards outweigh the risks of this potentially your guys getting hurt?
Well, that's why you should
giving
shorten
that time.
it. You don't need 4 games.
Play goes to shortening.
Only 3 this year, I think.
I think it is 3.
They are like on their way there. Yeah.
So
For me,
they cut out 1 game.
I say extend it to 5 games so we get football a week earlier. I think I like.
That's the thing. I don't even
games,
I don't even enjoy watching the preseason games though.
I like watching it. I
I usually watch like the first quarter or 2.
I mean, so do I. Here's the thing: it's kind of like it's better than nothing. Like I'd rather have a preseason game to watch than have just training camp highlights to talk about, especially in our pods and stuff like that. Like, what are we gonna? We need like having the visual, like all the reporters and stuff. They get to see what's actually going on. I feel like we get to actually see, if that's the truth, see it for ourselves. For how well these guys are doing.
We have nothing to go off of except for like these articles if it weren't for the preseason games.
No, I'm gonna watch it this year because of the pod. But
Yeah, you guys didn't get your press passes?
Prior, I would not really care that much. I don't care about watching fifth string guys, dude. I mean,
and that's what it is. So McVay came out this week, right? And he basically said Stafford will never play a preseason game. So he's one of those NFL coaches that hates the preseason.
Stafford doesn't need to play a preseason game.
Well, I mean, that's also true, but I think his point that he's trying to drive is, there's too many risks of guys getting hurt to not learn that much, obviously, from a starter. Those reps aren't as valuable for a guy that is the starter.
I mean, we know what Matt Stafford's peak is. Like, we know what all those starters' peak performance is, so we don't need, they don't need that practice.
Yeah.
Rookies. I say put the starters in the whole game and run up the score.
Talk about practice, man.
Rookies, it's good for.
Talking about practice. But yeah, no, I think this is just an NFL scam, make more money. If anything, I'd say what's valuable for the teams is have them do more joint practices between, with other teams and maybe less preseason games. So you avoid injuries, but you also get that value back and just playing, kind of seeing the competition, get a baseline as to how good your team actually is compared to the other teams. So maybe more of those like joint practices type deals. And less
I think
so
a joint
just
practice might be even
games.
like more beneficial because then you're spending, I think, even more time with the team playing against them than just like one quick game,
Yeah, and you're looking at different reads and different schemes and stuff like that. I don't know what actually goes down, but it seems like that's like the best possible way to do this. Avoiding the risk of injury while also getting to play against competition. But
realistically, would you guys be pissed if there were no preseason games? Because I feel like I would.
No, I wouldn't.
I honestly wouldn't care that much.
I wouldn't be pissed, but I get your point, Jackson. And I'm excited to watch something, like to finally get something back in football.
The way I look at it,
another 4 weeks.
Well, it's like a tease. It's not even like it's cool that it's there, but it's. But
at least I get to see it from. At least
football.
I get to see it for myself when I hear ESP talking and having all these takes and tweeting and everything like that. I feel like just the vibe I'm getting on the Eagles is this back and forth of are they good, are they not good? I can look at stats, but I need to just see it for myself a little bit. At least Jalen, just see how he's looking just since last year. It's better than nothing.
A player like Jalen, I feel like we need this preseason game just to see where he's even at.
And that's kind of the thing. Stafford, what Stafford is.
Like maybe
Jalen, you want to see something from.
Well, so if you guys follow the Twitter, you would have seen the poll that I posted today, which was how many reps do you think Jalen is going to get in his first preseason game? You think in 2 drives, 1 quarter, 1 half?
We'll get to that. We'll get to that because I do want to talk about playing time, but it seems like we're all in the same boat, except Brits. He's like throw it in the trash and let's move on.
Well, if I was like,
I'm kind of on Brits' side too,
Okay, all right.
Joe's apparently got better things to do than watch preseason games.
Yeah, nothing else to do.
I'm definitely saying.
Like I said, I'll watch until the starters hit the bench.
But yeah, no, I think it's important, if anything, for these young guys and rookies to they're prove-it games. It's not really even for starting positions. I feel like it's either to just make the team or be on special teams.
Yeah.
So I feel like if you're a player, you absolutely love to have the preseason games, especially if you're a rookie or a young player. If you're a team, you're kind of like, I don't know if I want my quarterback getting hurt in a game that doesn't matter. So,
right.
All right, let's talk about playing time and things like that. Let's talk about the actual game on Thursday. So let's start with this question. What is one answer, only one, that you're looking to get out of this game against the Steelers on Thursday?
That's good.
I'll let you think on that. My question, does Jalen have that confidence? Is he going to go to his checkdowns? Is he going to read his progression, stay in the pocket, have enough time to make a reads and make a confident throw when things are bad, when things go wrong, when there's potentially a sack or that he's feeling a lot of pressure? How does he handle that? I think for me, that's the one answer I'm looking to get. Does he have the confidence to audible plays, break out into something new, get up after a bad play, and then just change the vibe, drive the team downfield? I mean, I think we saw that he has that confidence. If anything, that's the one thing he does have looking back at last season. Does he still have it? And does he use it in the right ways? Does he turn a play that's not there because his receivers can't create space into something that, turns into a 10-plus yard play? So does Jalen have the confidence? That's what I'm looking for.
To answer your first question, I mean, it's not like anything crazy, but I think I just want to see Jalen have some accurate throws, like make some like just solid plays, like nothing fancy. Like it doesn't have to be fancy. If we get something fancy, that'd be cool. But just make some accurate throws. I don't know. Just see like that he's like had a good off season.
So Britt's just going for accuracy.
Yeah.
Okay, it's the one thing he really needs to improve on. So fair enough.
Austin, you go.
I'm actually going to be just seeing how Sirianni is on the sideline, I think, and just how the players overall respond to him.
I was thinking of that too.
In a game situation. Yeah. So I think that'll be interesting to watch. And I don't know how it's going to express itself. Like, I don't think that they're going to get too pressed during these games. Yeah. Like, no matter how bad it could get in the score, let's say, like, nothing that happens in the preseason is going to be like a true test. Like, if they go on, a losing streak in the season. So I'm not going to take like too much out of it, but I am just curious to see like the whole vibe that they've been creating through camp and how that actually comes out like on the field.
Yeah, because you got to think. I mean, preseason again, it doesn't matter. So in a game where it does matter, how does Sirianni handle that totally pressure different. When it's exactly when the stakes are different? With this, I feel like it's let's see how prepared he is for the game. Do things look really bad? Do people look out of place? Do the guys not know what they're doing or where they need to be? That's kind of what you need to look for. How well prepared they are actually now playing against NFL level competition compared to just themselves. So, all right, Jackson, what do you got for us?
For me, I don't know. I think like the most interesting part of the preseason is like getting to see how the depth chart is going to ultimately like pan out. So I obviously like there's a few spots that I'm like interested in. I think that we were all hearing that Jordan Mailata was going to be the starting left tackle potentially in like from reports coming out of training camp. But on the depth chart that you have up, Dillard's in the starting position. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how both of them do. I want to see how Travis Golden plays. Dillard's out. All right. Well, never mind then.
Dillard. Yeah, I mean,
interesting to see how Jordan Mailata plays then.
I was thinking about just saying this real quick, just so we all know. So there's some week-to-week guys who we probably won't see on Thursday. John Hightower, Devonta Smith, obviously, Jacoby Stevens, Davion Taylor, Casey Tucker, and then I think Dillard, Kayvon Wallace, and Michael Walker are all also injured right now.
Okay.
It's sad that we're not going to see Devonta Smith.
Yeah, I'm a little upset about that.
And this is also key time for Dillard as well, I think. So Dillard with the knee sprain, basically same thing as Devonta Smith, week to week, as Flay said. So it was kind of one of those things. With Dillard, I'm not one of those people who's reading too much into it and thinking he's actually going to get the starting spot. I think this is just swapping him in with Mailata, getting reps where he can just to build him up. The thing is, I don't know if I have a lot of confidence in Dillard being able to move around on the offensive line. He played a little bit of right tackle last year, stepping up for Lane, and he couldn't really handle it. I'm kind of worried. Guys, for me, I'm kind of worried that if Mailata gets the spot and we need depth for Dillard to step up somewhere else, he can't fill that role. Like, he can only understand the technique for one position.
Well, that's the thing.
my one worry with him.
I think Dillard can only play left tackle, and Mailata is more versatile. So maybe that's like why he's like the backup at this point. Because if Lane Johnson goes down, he could swap over maybe.
I mean, I don't know what you guys have been hearing, but all reports from camp lead to Mailata being the starter when the season comes.
That's why I was
very
confused about the starting position for
Dillard. I just know a lot of people read into this like, why is Mailata not being named the starter? I don't think it's that. I think it's just these guys splitting reps because Dillard's a guy who could be a starter, so he needs those reps.
Still.
Another interesting thing that I listened to today was saying that while these guys are having a battle at left tackle, on the opposite side of them, there's the battle of Derek Barnett and
Josh Sweat.
But Josh Sweat, who's killing it equally. He's pushing Barnett really hard in camp. So you have two positions that are going head-to-head in camp that both of the positions have a battle going on.
That's less of a thing, though, I think, because of how much the defensive line usually rotates. So I think they're both going to end up playing like 60% or 40% of snaps.
Oh, yeah. No, that's less of an actual battle, but it is an interesting aspect of camp because now that means that both Dillard and Mailata are probably getting the best out of both those players in terms of what they're up against.
I feel like not only like that, like part of the defense I think will be interesting, but I feel like just being able to see like how Gannon's defense just in general operates and like how this new secondary unit plays together, I think are all going to be interesting things to see. Like we got a lot of acquisitions on the defensive side. And I think even on the offensive side, we don't know how like either coach like actually plays. So I just think it's going to be interesting to see their play styles.
Yeah, does it come out looking quick? I mean, Sirianni likes to base a lot of his things on speed, it looks like. So pass catching backs outside, coming out of the field. I mean, it's going to be exciting. And then Gannon on the other side, is he going to be running this 3-4, then also 4-3 mix? So I like the competition overall as well. I mean, with Sweat and Barnett, if you have a guy fighting for your job, it's going to make you work that much more. If you don't have, if you have a spot guaranteed to you and it's, it's kind of like, all right, guaranteed money, guaranteed job, like nothing's going to change, then you have less motivation. So, I mean, I think Sweat being here now has pushed Barnett to be something better than what he's given us the past couple of years.
Yeah. I mean, he's just improved a lot. It's great to have like guys on the defense actually improving because we haven't seen that in a while.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's all part of this thing that Sirianni's trying to do with competition. That just is the best way to breed the best out of players.
Yeah, but I mean, Sweat improved last year. Like he's been improving.
Yes, Sweat's somebody who I think is somebody who's going to continue to improve. But I agree, Flay. I think just letting the cream rise to the top and then playing with that, I think it's like a good way to do it. Competition definitely helps.
Cream to the crop, rise to the top. Yeah. I mean, the competition is going to make these guys play better. Plus, I think it's the mentality too. Or is this defense going to be looking like the 2017 defense where we're doing the electric slide after every turnover we get? And it's like one big happy family, or is it going to be like the last couple of years where we couldn't even?
It's probably going to be somewhere in the middle.
We could count interceptions on one hand. So
I think this. Yeah. I mean, especially now that we added Steven Nelson, I feel like this like our defensive backs are going to get like a lot that picks.
I think we have to see it, right?
Didn't we say we look like a top 10 defense? You said
pressure up front and those guys that can get the ball.
Yeah, the QB's going to be startled and he's going to toss it up. I think somebody's going to pick it.
Yeah, we got some good ball hawks. It's just about that pressure on the quarterback.
Absolutely.
Well, that's never been a problem for us, I don't think.
Yeah,
not really.
So we talk about competition and all these reps that these guys are getting. Let's talk about how much playing time these guys are actually going to get and what you guys want to see. So let's start with just like the veterans, I guess young guys, rookie split. For me, I feel like it's got to be like a 70-30, like give 70% of the time to the young guys and then, maybe a couple drives for the first team starters. Like I want to see Jalen maybe get a couple drives with the first team to get those reps just to see what it looks like. Let's say, where do you guys say on the ratio with split for veterans to young guys? Kind of how much time?
For me, ideally, it's like I think I prefer like the first team to like the starters to get like almost the entire first half, maybe like with half of the second to go, like put in the second team. Then the third team goes, I think, for the third quarter, fourth team like for the fourth, I guess. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I feel like I think they shouldn't go past the first quarter. Really?
I don't think any starters are going to go past the first quarter, and I don't think any of the old heads are going to go past 2 drives.
Typically, it's kind of gotten to the point where it's like you really only see this. Yeah. You might not even see the quarter.
You might not even see.
I feel like 2 years ago they were playing the whole first half. Is that not true?
So for
every team is different.
It's been trending down every year.
It's definitely been trending down, but I feel like I mean some of those old heads you might even see sit out completely. But I feel like maybe a couple drives there. With Jalen, it's obviously a little bit different, right? Because we know he's the starter, but he does need the time. And like Joe Flacco doesn't need preseason time. Nick Mullins, good opportunity for him. Yeah. But those are the only quarterbacks on this team right now. So I feel like over under for Jalen, right? 2 quarters. So basically the first half.
Under.
Definitely under.
I think he plays 1 quarter. I think he plays 1 whole quarter.
I could see him playing 1 quarter.
But do you guys want him to play more time than that? How do you feel?
I think he's playing the entire first half. I think you guys are crazy. I feel like the starting QB, especially in the first game, typically plays the whole first half.
I think it's the last
game. It's the last game of the preseason where the starters don't play.
Sure last year Carson had like literally 1 like snap last year.
But that is also Carson. you got to remember, it was different from what we were expecting.
Yeah.
Out of Carson. So, yeah, I mean, and Carson got hurt in a preseason. What was it? 2 years ago, broke his ribs. So
did he? Is that when
he did? He definitely got hurt in the preseason. I mean, he got hurt all the time.
He's hurt now.
I think
can I bring something up about Carson Wentz real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Of course.
He's out like 5 to 12 weeks. I saw, which is not good for our first round pick.
No, I thought we debunked that.
I'm
pretty sure it's slightly less than that.
Well, I saw recently it was 5. I don't know, it might not be, but I'm hearing it. Their rookie this year, from the 6th round, is taking first team reps, and I'm wondering if like he plays well, is Carson going to be able to mentally handle it, or is he going to, just give up on the Colts as well?
Is he going to be able to?
A very similar situation.
Is he going to be able to mentally handle the Colts trading for Nick Foles when he goes there?
Not a chance.
That was such a weird interview too. That Nick Foles interview. I don't know if you guys heard that.
Yeah,
I
didn't hear.
He kind of said he wanted to go. Basically,
it was a weird bravado moment for him. He's usually much more reserved.
What did he say?
He came on pretty strong to some reporters in a press conference when they asked him about like the Carson injury, and he didn't like make any indication of the Colts or like going to the Colts, I think, but he basically like just was like, I'm ready to go. Like I'm here, and he said this is the thing that I can remember and that I can quote is like he's like, I'm a Bears player for now, which was like kind of like a big,
which is kind of like you don't say that when you're still on a team too.
But he was fired up.
But,
he was like, I feel as good as I've ever felt.
Yeah, he was saying he's the best he's ever been in his career right now, right?
Because I mean, Foles is looking at it like, oh man, I have my best games when I take over for Carson. So he's like, all right, send me.
Well, he knows he's not playing this year.
Yeah. I mean, he's probably not going to get time with the Bears. So I mean, maybe he goes. I don't think they would make that trade. I think what's his name? Frank Reich has already said this is Carson's team. Which again, it's not something you say. I mean, you can't just give it to the guy because he sucked last year. But he did say this is Carson's team, so they're not. Trust me, he's not going to make. Colts are not going to make that trade to do that. Go through that process all over again.
That would just be a bad
I'm saying I'm smelling QB controversy, and I don't think
happen. Maybe with that rookie, yeah.
With the 6th round pick.
Definitely not with Foles.
Yeah, maybe with the rookie.
I would rather have Foles than Joe Flacco.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I mean Joe's done. I mean he's got nothing left.
If anything, Joe is there as a great mentor.
It's all he is. You hired a QB coach in Flacco. That's all.
Oh yeah, he's got good experience. I mean, I'm sure he'll be like a good mentor for Jalen Hurts.
Yeah. So that's the thing. I kind of want Jalen to get 2 quarters because it's like, I mean, why do you need to put Flacco in the game one? And how many?
Well, I don't even know if Flacco would go in. I think Mullins would go in next.
So does Mullen get the whole second half then? Because there's no way he gets 3 quarters, right?
Who, Mullins?
I'm telling you, first game, Jalen Hurts, since he's so inexperienced.
I mean, it is the first game.
He's going to get 2 quarters. I guarantee he's going to get 2 quarters, and then Flacco's probably going to get the 3rd.
He might,
and
but
Nick Mullins will get the 4th.
He might, but I wouldn't be super surprised. But like, I think I'd lean more towards like a quarter.
Okay,
could be.
Are you guys worried about? Is that because you're worried about injuries, things like that? Just how the preseason works.
Yeah, I think it's just typically how the preseason goes.
I think it's both. I think it's injuries. Like you don't want them to get hurt. Like
yeah. All right. So what about other guys then? So guys that similar to Jalen, it's kind of like we already know they're starters. They don't really need much time, but this time kind of helps. So I'm thinking like Boston.
Not that many people on the team like that.
Well, I'm thinking Boston Scott. So guys on the offense. So Boston Scott, Rieger, Ward. We know they're all starters. How much time do you guys want them? Those kind of guys to get.
I want them to get
some first quarter at most.
If Jalen's not throwing the ball to them, I don't want them in the game.
For me, just for the first game, like I've been saying, I want the whole like starting team to be out for the first half. The player that I'm the most excited to watch, I think, is Travis Fulgham. I want to see if he can, recapture his form from mid-season last year.
I'm excited for Quez Watkins.
Yeah, I mean,
Watkins seems good.
That's kind of the thing. I want Watkins to get a lot of reps. Like I want guys like that who have been shining in training camp to get their moment now. Like this is where you got to really prove it. And maybe Rieger just to get him in more shape and just see what he can do if he can actually create space against guys that are starting in this league. So I feel like Okay, so let's turn on the other side then with the defense. Guys who are new, like Eric Wilson, and then some of the younger guys like Maddox, McPherson, Epps, things like that. What's kind of the split there? Same deal, first half, and then just bring him out.
Yeah, I mean, a guy like
for
Wilson
Kinda
is still a vet in the NFL, so he's not gonna like need.
Yeah, I'm pretty much on like in the same thing for all the starters.
For me, I'm less about the amount of time that they're playing. I just want to see how like certain players on the team perform. Because I feel like a lot of people are sort of playing for like they could be a starter, but they also might not be. You know what I mean? I feel like this is going to be like a defining game.
So Jackson, who are those players? What defining moments?
Like I feel like
do certain guys need?
I feel like Watkins. I want to see what's going on with Ertz behind Goddard. Goddard's the starter on the depth chart right here. You know?
Yeah.
Like we were saying earlier, Mailata. I think Matt Pryor and Herbig might be interesting.
I was going to say, I'm interested to see Nate Herbig as well.
You know, I want to see Tyree Jackson too, the 6'7" guy who catches everything, has had the most targets and the most catches in training camp out of all receivers.
I think that's going to be really interesting.
He might be a practice squad stash and then a late season call up.
Oh man, we'll see what he's not on the roster right here. We'll see what he turns out to be. I think he gets a starting spot, maybe at least third string.
He's pretty much guaranteed a practice squad role at this point because he's too intriguing
to
just let go outright.
I think they might do this. You can't risk letting him go to another team.
They might sort of do the same thing that they did with Mailata with him, just stash him on the practice squad and develop him.
Yeah, we'll see.
You know who's someone that I wish we could see, but obviously we just can't because he's hurt, is Dickerson. That would have been great to see him.
That would have been good timing to see how he can play and step up.
So also interested to see, just add one more to that list, McPherson.
Oh, absolutely. I've been hearing a lot of good things.
Having a hot camp.
He's having a hot camp. With a guy like Tyree Jackson, it seems like Hurts is very comfortable with his tight ends too. So maybe he does get, some playing time in the season if he pans out to be something special. I mean, this could have been the greatest steal of all time. Yeah, he turns out into something.
He's got a decent depth chart ahead of him. Richard Rodgers is definitely someone who knows the system and is a decent tight end.
He's got a lot to work against.
Like you were saying real quick, I just want to say, I think McPherson, if he plays really good, he could maybe take the starting spot from Maddox. And it's like, I think that would be interesting to see how they both play.
That would be great. And if they both push each other to just become better players overall, like that, just double benefit for the
hey, as far as
Sixers, I almost said Sixers for the Eagles.
And hey, as far as opportunities for this guy to learn and develop, I'd rather him learn and do that through the slot spot than having. Because remember, go back just only 2 pods ago where we don't have Nelson, and it's kind of like, all right, on the other side is Maddox. Does McPherson start on the other side? That's what we were kind of questioning. So didn't look good. Thank God we filled that hole, and now it's like, okay, McPherson might be a good spot for you to take the slot spot.
And I'm comfortable with one of them in the slot,
Exactly. And if all they need to be is Patrick Robertson, got to represent, got to call him out today because he's fully he just retired from the NFL, 11 seasons. So I had to call him out, shout him out a little bit for that. We won't forget that pick against
Patrick Robertson.
Keenan.
He had a stellar season, that Super Bowl run.
It was a great run.
Do you get no notifications on sport topics? Because I feel like we're breaking a bunch of news.
And it's always breaking news once Jackson catches up with us.
Yeah, if I don't see it on the NFL subreddit,
you gotta turn those Nature Report notifications.
I don't even have the app.
But yeah, this is gonna be a fun team. It's gonna be a fun defense. I'm ready to watch defense. Defense wins championships. I grew up with that mentality. I still believe in it. But so with that said, Eric Wilson, pretty cool guy. He was interviewed by WIP today. Trains with MMA fighters. He's vegan, and he's just a really confident guy. So just quick fun facts about it. I think Joe DeCamera asked him if you could pick a grade on your life right now. What grade would you give yourself? He says A+ in life. I got an A+. So he's a really confident guy. When asked, what are you working on in camp to help develop or just work on your next thing? He said he's working on violence. He's just trying to be a more violent person.
Guy, if I've ever heard it.
Trying to be more violent in everything he does. So
he's about to attack, dude.
In one statement, I counted that he said the word violence 7 times. So he's the Sirianni Kool-Aid is bleeding into these guys.
They're sipping, dude.
Heads.
They're
sipping hard. So that was just one cool thing I wanted to highlight. Fun fact on
How's
Eric
he
Wilson.
working on violence? Is he just acting like a lunatic?
I have no idea what he meant by that. Because
I think if you're a linebacker in the NFL, you just got to be able to go into kill mode,
So and that's the thing.
You just popping people.
No cliche, but just like attack, whatever the ball's at, and just run at it and take it down.
And that's the thing. He's the middle linebacker on the depth chart. Singleton on the weak outside linebacker. So Singleton was also interviewed today, and it was kind of like he was talking more about scheme and like breaking things down. I feel like he talked like he was the middle linebacker, and then you hear Eric Wilson. He's just like, I just want to work on violence, and it's like, all right. Either way, just go out and kill some guys. I love to see it. Give me some defense.
Yeah, I mean, it's about time we have somebody who's getting that wild in the linebackers, dude. I feel like our linebackers are always atrocious, so I'm hoping it's not that.
So I don't. To Jackson's point, I don't know what working on violence means, but I like the sound of it.
Yeah,
I like the sound of it too.
Okay.
I hear.
Especially if he's growling.
I hear Milton Williams is also having a good camp, guys. So I'm excited to see him.
Yeah, he's another name we want to take a look at as well. So here's the general feel, right, that I've been hearing lately from training camp is that the offense isn't playing well. I think Jalen, through 200 attempts, has scored or thrown 10 passing touchdowns compared to Carson's 28 through 200 attempts last year. So that was an ESP comparison. Again, take it with a grain of salt because Carson had probably his best training camp last year, and we all know how that turned out. So, but the general feeling is we're not scoring a lot in the red zone. There's a lot of batted balls, which kind of speaks to not a lot of separation between the receivers and defensive backs. Could have been on just one practice, could have been 10 plus sacks if the defense was going 100%.
So maybe our defense.
Yeah, I was going to say.
This is my question.
Was atrocious last year?
Well, here's the thing. Here's my question. How much of this is the defense playing lights out compared to the offense just being complete crap?
I think it's a lot
in your minds.
I think it could. I think it honestly could be like the defense is just really good with this new system and these new pickups.
Like everybody was torching us last year.
I think we're gonna find out on Thursday.
You know what? If Carson Wentz threw 28 touchdowns on them last year in preseason, it's got to be the defense because Carson Wentz was horrible last year.
Well, that's what I'm trying to get out of this, right? Like, is that Jalen like making the safe pass, not taking any chances? Because we know Carson did that. He was aggressive and put it in places where he shouldn't have.
I think the highlights that we've seen have proven otherwise. Like everyone shared that Rieger catch over Slay the other day. That's was true.
There are some bombs downfield.
Hurt pass, but he did, take the chance and try to go over on our best cornerback. And it worked. So he seems to be putting the passes up there. He's not afraid to, let it fly.
That's true. But as far as volume, I mean, a lot of the running backs are getting catches more so than, or at least the same amount of catches as the receivers.
Not Miles Sanders.
Well, no, I mean, he's getting a ton of catches too. He's top with targets in comparison to Scott.
I heard that he's actually got more drops than anyone.
Well, maybe drops, yeah, but he's still
he was dropping the ball last year, and
he's getting a lot of targets. I mean, his catching percentage went, I think, from like 80% to 50% from
what happened
the year before last year. So he kind of dropped off there. I'm not down on him though. I mean, I think he has so much potential to be a top back in this league. I'm pretty up on Miles Sanders. I mean, if you need Boston Scott and Gainwell to catch the ball, just bring those guys in.
I think that the Eagles running back system works best when they share the load, and I think that is always going to work against a guy like Miles Sanders when it comes to being a workhorse every down back.
Yeah. I don't think he is a workhorse though, that's the thing.
Neither do I. I think that he has a specific role of being a shifty and quick and explosive guy.
Do it, but I feel like ideally we shouldn't make him do it.
I think that the team overall just operates better when we have a more dynamic and versatile run.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we've proven that the running back by committee works. And if you need Boston Scott or Gainwell to catch the ball over Sanders, that's fine. But just put Sanders in to get those 60-plus yard runs.
Let him run the ball.
Just feed the man and then just throw it to Boston Scott.
Yeah.
But I do think it's a combo of both. I mean, I think it's more. I mean, it's Slay and Nelson playing these guys tight. I feel like Dave. Plus, you got Harris there in the backfield, or in the background as well. So I mean, between those three guys, you're again also playing against a rookie quarterback. I think it's more the defense playing really well versus the offense not playing as great. But I think that's something we'll see a little bit more on Thursday.
I do want to say I don't agree that I think the running back by committee is good. I think that like when you bring in multiple running backs, I think you become one-dimensional because depending on the running back that you have out there, the defense is like, oh, they're going to do this.
I was
going to
mention that.
Or then even if you don't do that, like I remember a lot of times we just run Sproles right up into the center to be like, oh, we're not actually going to, like throw a screen because Sproles is out, and then he just runs up the middle and gets no yards. You know what I mean? I just feel like it's stupid, and that like if you had like one running back who could do like everything like a bell cow back, then you just become less predictable.
Well, yeah. I mean, we still won a Super Bowl with.
I was just going to say, so. I'll go back to the 2017 season.
RPO, though.
Yeah, which is something that you can obviously do to counteract what you just talked about.
To, like, which if you have which if you're running the RPO and you have Blunt in there, you're probably going to run it more often. I mean, you can you can fake them out, To
an extent, I feel like you can fake them out, but I think it's better to have a bell cow back.
Which is another thing that our 2017 team did that none of our teams since have done nearly as much, and that's like creative plays.
Obviously, it's more ideal to have like a Saquon Barkley or a Derrick Henry, but like we don't have that.
We don't know. Miles Sanders could be that.
No, but he's not built like that.
He's not built like that.
Yeah, he's too injury prone. I mean, check injury.
He was a bell cow back. Was it just because he was like a little bowling ball?
Who?
Check.
Maurice Jones-Drew?
Yeah, but I mean, he was a little bit there. I mean, I don't know. Either way, I mean, you got to have guys that are versatile.
Not thick enough? Is that the deal?
Here's the thing, though. I want to give.
He gets hurt all the time too, and he's
let's give credit to Boston Scott here because I think he can run the ball too. So as far as versatile players that can do a little bit of both, I think he can still run the ball. He stepped it up a lot when Sanders went out. He's pretty good.
He's a good backup. He's a really good backup.
But I mean, you do have a point to that, though, Jackson. If somebody goes in, the defense is already reading like what you're trying to do. But that's why you also need guys who are able to block in the backfield, and that's where Kerryon Johnson could also come in. Maybe you fake the run to him, but he haven't heard much from him. I mean, he's gotten a lot of second team reps, I think, so far this year. Not barely anything with the first team, but he is a good pass blocking back. So maybe you fake the run to him, driving upfield, but he just blocks for you for a passing play. Yeah, I don't know.
You guys want to do any predictions for the game, or is it just a dangerous thing to do for preseason?
Could do some predictions.
Might as well do it.
I think it's probably less prediction on what the score is or anything like that, but more from what you're going to see from some of these guys. So what do you guys got?
Well, we already predicted.
You want to predict the score? All right.
I feel like we already did our predictions.
How these players are going to do already.
I don't know if it matters, but go ahead. 37-0.
Steelers.
Birds.
And their backups.
No, I mean honestly, because you got to factor in all the backups.
Probably be like 21.
Probably gonna be a close game.
I'll say like 21 to 17, and we'll take a dub.
I'll do 27-35, and I'll say the Birds.
Damn, that's a lot of points though.
Yeah. Let's go. I'll predict that Jalen Hurts gets a touchdown in the first drive.
Okay. I'll predict a play.
I like it.
Pick six. We're gonna have a pick six.
Pick six?
Yeah.
Pick six. I like it.
I hate to do it, but I think we're gonna lose 31-34.
That's very high, though. I'd be okay with that. Almost. Well, actually, no, I wouldn't be okay.
You want to do a play prediction, Jackson? You want to predict a certain player making
Let's see here.
Play?
Yeah, I think Jalen Hurts is gonna catch a touchdown pass.
Okay. You should bet on that.
That's a preseason prediction if I've ever heard one.
Fair enough. Okay. I will say 41-33 Birds.
You guys are all going so high.
God damn, that's a
they get the win. Well, I said that those numbers on purpose.
Oh well, yeah, you're choosing the Super Bowl numbers.
Short-term memory. What the fuck? And I will say that my boy Anthony Harris will knock the shit out of somebody and injure somebody within the first quarter.
He has to do it in the first quarter because it's the only time he's going to play.
That's the only time he's going to play.
I'll predict
my prediction is
Jake Elliott fake field goal.
Fake field goal kick scores a touchdown.
You look like such a douche if you do that in a preseason game.
Right,
but
my prediction is
Sirianni steps out, comes out.
You got to practice somehow, man. That live game scenario.
I think Eric Wilson is going to get too violent and end up punching somebody in the face.
Oh God.
Well, at least he'll speak. We'll know he's telling the truth because he worked on violence all the practice. So okay.
I think Fletcher Cox breaks out into 1 Irish jig and 1 army crawl.
We'll see 1 army crawl.
Sure. Over under. I'll give him 1 army crawl. I don't know about the jig though.
I don't even know if it'd be an army crawl.
All right. Any players you're excited to see from the Steelers? I know I'm looking to see Claypool, my boy, picked him up from the waivers last season. Did he get hurt last?
He got hurt in the preseason game last week.
Oh no! Did he really? Okay, so I'm guessing not going to see him.
We're breaking news for everyone here on the Escape Pod.
This is a revenge match because he's got 4 TDs against us last year. But I'm excited to see what he looks like. Obviously, you got Najee Harris coming as the Steelers' first-round pick. I think they did.
They got someone
other than Harris. And then there's Juju, obviously, but other than that, those are kind of the guys to look for on the Steelers side. And James Washington. Does he play for them? Does he want to come play for us? What's going to go on? Yeah.
I say let it ride with that receiving core, honestly. But I feel like if they're the Eagles, you kind of have to express interest in any receiver who's shown, NFL-like play time and the ability to score touchdowns.
Oh, no, they didn't get it back. James Conner left. That's what it was.
He left. I think he went to the Cardinals, right?
Yeah.
It's a good pickup for the Cards.
But did they get rid of Drake or Edmonds?
Oh, I don't know.
They got rid of Drake, I think.
Good point.
Oh, Edmonds was a beast last year.
Yeah, dude. I think Edmonds is our RB1.
So, yeah, no, I don't think there's any other predictions that I can kind of go through, but let's just see what Jalen pans out to be. Let's see what we get from the defense.
Yep.
And then let's see if Sirianni pans out to be ready for a preseason game.
It's going to be nice to see the Birds walk out on the field.
Real quick, before we end the podcast, I wanted to give a shout-out to the Sixers and the Summer League team yesterday. They won. And I feel like they absolutely dominated, dude.
Big boy Maxey looking good.
Maxey wasn't just taking, pull-up jumpers. I mean, he was taking pull-up jumpers, but he wasn't taking, he wasn't just getting the ball, shooting, He was, dribble, step back, drilling him, dude.
Dude, Maxey's
He played really good.
You tell he's been working on his game.
It's like, unlike somebody.
Seeing him on the Insta. No, today, actually.
And who else are we?
You reminded me, Brits, because it's officially that time of year where Ben Simmons releases his 3-point. This was supposed to be an Eagles-focused squad, and now you just
unedited.
Blew the
hasn't,
damn.
It wasn't me, it was Jackson.
Hasn't answered Joel's calls, hasn't talked to any personnel in the Sixers. What's going on?
His fucking 3-point shot with Rajon Rondo.
It's fake news. He's talking to the Sixers, I'm sure.
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah, fake news.
He was probably playing tennis with
He's out of here. He's so out of here. It's unbelievable. I can't wait.
He's definitely done. He doesn't want to come back.
Can't wait to see him gone. I mean, you two as the biggest Ben Simmons fans, I feel like you guys are ready for him to leave too.
I'm a enabler, dude. I'm ready for him to stay.
Wait, did he post the video?
I mean, I'm out. I can understand if they don't get a trade that they keep him, but I'm trying to move on.
Even the Ben enablers are ready to move on.
I saw that video of him in the gym. He was draining threes. I'm convinced he's going to shoot 45% from 3 this year.
Oh my God!
And he's going to be a beast.
Talk about benabling.
Jackson Belko, professional.
He looked like Damian Lillard. He looked like Damian Lillard out there. Why do we even need Dame? We already have
Jackson Belko.
Everybody roast Jackson in the comments.
The professional.
That's my prediction. Ben, 50% from 3 this year.
Like this video.
Off the dribble.
And my prediction is Jackson will continue to be a professional troll in all future Philly Escape podcasts. So next time we'll catch you. We'll catch you for a post-game analysis, and then we'll talk about the next preseason game. So catch us next time in episode 14. But with that said, we are launched and landed, my friends. We'll catch you next time.
Comment below, subscribe, like,
hit the bell, and we'll watch some birds with you.
Give us those 3-point percentage predictions in the comments.
Less than 20.